Hey guys, Jug here, and I'm going to do a live commentary about what makes a very skillful player, and well, why the high rounds are no longer really skill based. I mean, they are to a certain point, but it's gotten to the point where almost anybody could get a record if they really wanted to. I mean, if they had the time, the effort, if they could really be bothered doing it. And yeah, I didn't get this at least. GG Wobbler. So I guess I will start with what makes a very skillful player. In my opinion, the best players are players like Steve, who just play a map and can pick it up really quickly. Players that can pick up maps really fast tend to be good at everything in that game. So, like, when Shadows of Evil first came out, him and Scotty were the first to get very good rounds on it, considering it only just came out. I mean, granted, they did get the game, I think, earlier than other people, but still, they were making really high rounds, like, before anybody else was even getting close to those rounds. And when it first came out, everybody was copying their strategy. No one was really expanding on their own strategies. It was just, Steve did it, let's copy him, because he knows what he's doing, kind of thing. That's, in my opinion, the best player, because people learn off them, they don't learn off other players. I mean, I'm sure Steve has learned off other players, it's just he doesn't need to as much as other players, I'd say. Yeah, and that really goes to show, because not only in Shadows of Evil how he picked up that really quickly, same with the Giant obviously also. He got like 160 odd or something like that pretty early on as well, which if they hadn't changed all the patches and stuff, I think would still be the current world record. So yeah, and he's also pretty much done all of that on Black Ops 1 and 2 as well. Maybe not so much Black Ops 1, but Black Ops 2 especially. Just picking up those early world records. Kind of like when King Jack was still playing. Like, he picked up the transit record pretty quick. So yeah, that's, in my opinion, the most skillful player. Or players. I mean, not just Steve. Scotty is also another one, because pretty much him, Steve and Scotty both like tag teamed that, went for that really early grind for the high rounds, which turned out to be pretty much a waste of time, considering nobody considers those rounds the record anymore because of all the patches, because the game was broken when it came out. It still is broken, but not as much. So yeah, that's a thing. And I guess I should talk about other types of players that I still think are very good players. Like, they're very good players as well, but to what extent, kind of thing. Like, we'll mention Glowbox. Okay, Glowbox is the Kino to Totem master. I think everybody believes that's the case, because it is. He is the master. He did no novas to 227 or something like that. Can't even remember. GG well played. And yeah, that's pretty much anybody who wants the Kino record should be expected to at least get that round. I mean, people don't consider it the record, but honestly they should. The only reason was because of that little round skip incident, which he made up the time and all, so it doesn't really make much sense why people would not, like, they just don't think it's legit because of that. I mean, there's not much he could have done about that. People say he should have just restarted, but that's just, no. I think he's entitled to the world record, and everybody knows he's an absolute beast at Kino. It's practically the only map he plays. But regardless, that's the type of people I want to talk about next. The people that just nerd the crap out of one map. I guess the next example I'm going to use is Phoenix with Shangri-La. He has played that map to death. Absolutely beaten the crap out of it. And it paid off eventually. I think that's another thing. It's just undeniable that he is the best Shangri-La player. You can't deny it. He played so much faster than the previous world record holder, and he did some groundbreaking stuff that nobody else had really done, like the Semtex insta-kill strategy. he ran with mule kick to like 160 or something like that, something crazy like that, something people hadn't really done before. And that's these type of players that I want to really talk about, who are also skillful. Like, no one had run no novas to 200 before Glowbox. No one had come close to that. No one had even made instas before. I don't think anybody still has. It's just the big skill difference. Like, sure, they've nerded the crap out of the map, but it's paid off because they are way better than the average player. Like, if Steve tried to do Kino 200 no novas, I don't reckon he'd be able to get that first go. No way. He wouldn't be able to get it in the first couple of goes. He'd need to really take time to learn it. You'd have to master it. That's like the difference between a good player and a master of a particular map. I don't think anyone's really a master of all maps. Maybe just a master of a handful of maps, or maybe just the one. So yeah, that's the next type of players. And then the next type of players I want to talk about is the players that nerd the crap out of the map and can only get a decent round at it. I'm going to use Adopted as this example, and again with Shangri-La. I mean, it kind of has paid off for him now, because him and Dro did a very impressive double flawless Shangri-La co-op game, so there is signs that he actually has learnt a lot and is getting extremely good at that map. But the thing I'd like to point out really is he's not doing anything groundbreaking. He's not doing that. Well, he did try, but try doing this whole Semtex thing, but it just the Semtex. What am I on about? The fucking the mule kick thing, and doing the faster Shangri-La loop where you start in M16. But it just wasn't paying off for him. He couldn't do it as fast, he couldn't do it without dying, and he couldn't go flawless for long enough to have mule kick the entire time, which is a problem, because you need to stay flawless in Shangri-La for as long as possible to play as fast as possible. And that just wasn't happening with Adopted. He was dying a lot, and he played it a lot, and a lot more than Phoenix, say. I mean, Phoenix pretty much got screwed over by like a Xbox crash, or like not a G-spawn, but like an error or power outage, or just something like that. Same with Glowbox, he gets screwed over with a lot of crap like that. But Adopted tends to just die. I don't want to just only say Adopted, because there's a lot of players, but sorry for picking on you, Adopted, but you're just the best example. Almost everybody knows you in the community. You are pretty well known. But yeah. So, and then there's those types of players, of course. And then I guess there's players kind of like me, who have the potential to do these high rounds, but just choose not to. Like, I reckon I could at least get the Darius record if I really wanted to. I mean, Darius isn't that difficult in my opinion, and the world record is very beatable at the moment by Zeus Cannon, like 220 something, 222 or some shit. I don't fucking care. It's fucking Darius. Anybody could get that, to be honest. And there's a lot of potential to play faster than Zeus. I mean, you wouldn't even need to play faster than Zeus, because he was like 3 hours off reset. So you wouldn't even need to match his time to get the record. So it's a very beatable record. But nobody's really playing that at the moment. So if anyone wants a record, it's all yours. So that's more about the players. Now, why the maps aren't really skill-based anymore. I mean, they are to a certain extent, of course. I mean, I'm trash at Call of the Dead. I think most people who watch my streams will realise that. And I think the reason I'm bad at Call of the Dead is because you kind of have to play slow. You can't play Call of the Dead fast, in a sense. Like, you don't progress through the rounds very fast. When you hit the 80s, it's going to take like 2 hours, 3 hours a round. Which, fuck that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So, that's my weakness, I guess. And I always quit after like a down, because it just enrages me, because then I'll be playing even slower, and then I'm just gonna make me mad, and then I'll take another stupid down, and I'm done. So that's my weakness, my worst map. And I think why it's not really skill based anymore is because with maps like that, you can play as slow as you want to get the record, especially on PC. Maybe not on console, but on PC especially. You can play as slow as you want. You're gonna fucking wreck Oxygen's record, Oxy and Frenzy. Ease peas, provided you know you don't error. Which yeah, that's always a problem, I guess. Which I guess is another thing. I guess knowledge does matter. You need good map knowledge in most cases to get a record. You have to be well aware of the spawn zones, of course. And if you fuck up, you need to know how to fix your mistake, etc, etc. But realistically, almost anybody could get any record. I mean, there's a couple of records which I call unbeatable records. And there isn't really many of those. One of them, I'd say, is the co-op Call of the Dead 120. It is a pretty unbeatable record. I mean, yeah, sure, someone could beat it, but realistically, it's not going to happen. Nobody is going to play that long on Call of the Dead except for Deeds. And I don't think Deeds is going to beat his own record again. He's done it like 3 times. I don't think he's up for a 4th. So that's an unbeatable record in my opinion. Another one I would call Kino to Toten solo by Globox. That's a pretty unbeatable record. I mean, you could play it faster, but at least at the moment, nobody's on that skill level where they could even remotely compete with Globox's No Nova skill at that speed. Even if you got really lucky, it'd still be close. And another thing is, with most high round players I find now, they're not the most skillfulest players. They tend to just have the time and the willpower to play. So they're not particularly the best players, it's just they've got the time to play. A good example of this is Gamer O'Neill. He has a lot of Black Ops 2 records, co-op at least. But in most of those games he plays blue, or the blue player role, I should say, because colours don't really matter in Black Ops 2. And yeah, like, the records, they're very easy to beat as well, Black Ops 2 co-op records, because of all the errors. And he plays those so much. I mean, it would be disappointing if he didn't have a record, honestly. He's played so many Black Ops 2, and I don't dislike the guy for that, it's just I don't think he's the most skillfulest player, and I think he realises that. I mean, yeah, he realises that. I'm sure he realises that, but he can still get records, which is my point precisely, is that anybody who has the time could get a world record, especially co-op. Maybe not solo, because solo comes with its own, like, bag of things you need to know, and it's a lot more independent. You can't rely on a very strong white player to carry you. I mean, like, look at Wheeler, for example. He could carry anybody to fucking the Origins co-op record. You just need somebody with, like, half a brain who can sit in a corner on the tank track for, like, a couple of hours. Boom, record. That's literally all it is to it. What else to talk about? I guess that's another thing with Willio. He's skillful at Origins. And he did pretty good at Doris, considering he hadn't played much Black Ops. So I have some respect for him in that aspect. Also, but I don't think there's much else I wanted to talk about. I think that was just about it. So I guess thanks for watching. I might do more of these commentaries if I can be bothered, because I'm just kind of really bored now, and I thought I would try something different. Because why the hell not? It's holidays, I'm doing nothing. I'm not even really playing with zombies. I've been playing a lot of Counter-Strike, to be honest. Playing the hell out of Counter-Strike, but that's getting old at the moment because the new update pretty much screwed up the ranking system and deranked a bit, which is unfortunate. Anyway, like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe, and see ya.